Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Truth Talk episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about what happened to Hollywood actor Paul Walker. But before we begin, I just wanted to remind you guys to subscribe to my second channel, Truth Network. We are at 27K on the second channel and are trying to reach 30K as soon as possible. Once we hit 30K on the second channel, we will be releasing new exclusive content on there and introducing new shows. So if you haven't already and want to continue to show support to the movement, make sure you subscribe to the second channel, Truth Network. The channel will be tagged in the description. Thank you all. Now let's get right into it. Back in 2013, actor Paul Walker was one of the biggest movie stars in the world, becoming a megastar after acting in many Hollywood blockbuster movies. But it was the massive movie franchise Fast and the Furious that took him to superstardom. 2013 was going to be another big year for Paul Walker, who was continuing his Hollywood career by working on Fast 7, the biggest movie a part of the Fast and the Furious franchise that's still ongoing to this day. Sadly, what made the movie the most successful out of the rest was something that no one expected: a terrific tragedy. On November 30th, 2013, Paul Walker was hosting a toy drive event at one of his car shops in California for his disaster relief charity. At about 3:20 p.m., Paul hopped in the passenger side of a Porsche GT being driven by his friend Roger Rhodes and headed off. They wouldn't get too far, as just down the street, Roger would somehow lose control of the vehicle, leading to a terrible crash. The vehicle was seen in flames, and sadly, neither Paul nor Roger would make it. This tragedy shocked the world, leaving family and fans of the actor devastated and looking for answers. Since Paul's passing happened while he was still filming the movie Fast 7, the movie became a tribute to him. Even though they faced trouble finishing the film, they got it done by bringing in his brother to film the remainder of the movie using face-swapping technology. Fast 7 will go on to be the biggest grossing movie a part of the franchise, and sadly, Paul wasn't here to see it. Ironically, driving fast was the thing that made him a superstar on film, and sadly, it would be the same thing that would cost him everything. Many people were left with questions on what led to such an accident. Both Roger and Paul were experienced in driving supercars and were known to drive them around often. So for Roger to lose control so quickly after driving off, it just seemed rather strange. These are guys who are known for driving fast cars fast. They know how to control these vehicles, what to do and what not to do in them. This left people feeling like there had to be more to the story. Even Paul's own family felt that something was off, as sometime after the accident, they sued Porsche in a wrongful death lawsuit, eventually settling out of court for an undisclosed amount. To me, this doesn't answer the questions that I felt needed answers. Was it really just bad driving or a faulty car that led to such a tragedy? Or was there more to this story? After looking into the situation, I quickly realized that my intuition was correct. And indeed, there is a bigger mystery surrounding this situation. Paul Walker was a Hollywood actor, and we all know just how dark Hollywood can get. A place full of sinister mysteries, and the tragic end of Paul Walker appears to be one of those very mysteries. I believe what happened to Paul Walker happened by design and was no accident. In order to understand my statement, we have to go back 13 years before Paul Walker passed, back to the year 2000, when he was still just an upcoming face in Hollywood. During the 2000s was when Paul went from a popular actor to the superstar he would become. Paul has a long history in Hollywood, as he has been acting since he was a baby. He started at the very young age of 2 years old, acting in a commercial for Pampers. He would keep doing commercials throughout his childhood. It wasn't until 1984 that Paul would end up getting casted to act in the show CBS School Break. Just 2 years later, he would get casted for a B-rated movie, Monster in the Closet, his very first movie role, marking the beginning of his movie career. For the next few years, Paul would bounce around different shows, playing one-off characters. He spent the 90s on many different TV shows and movie roles, becoming a popular face in Hollywood. But his big break wouldn't come into the 2000s. See, the movie Fast and the Furious that made Paul a superstar actor was released to the world back in 2001. I'm pretty sure most of you already knew this, but what most people don't know about is the movie that he was a part of that came out right before Fast and the Furious. In the year 2000, the movie The Skulls was released, and Paul Walker was one of the supporting actors a part of the film. The movie The Skulls was based on the real-life secret society called the Skull and Bones that resided in Yale University. I have done a full video on the Skull and Bones that you guys can watch after this one, but it's important to note that the Skull and Bones were created by two high-degree Freemasons, Alfonso Taft and William Russell. The Skull and Bones only picked members out of Yale University and would go on to breed big politicians and even presidents like George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., and William Howard Taft, the son of Alfonso Taft, the creator of the organization. Many members of the Skull and Bones also become members of the CIA, as it's believed they recruit directly from the organization. The Skull and Bones is a Masonic organization with endless influence and control. In the movie, Paul Walker plays the character Caleb Mandrake, the son of the leader of the Skull and Bones. There is a scene in the movie where a character reveals the organization's ritual room, leading to the character being taken out. They also have a scene where they show the initiation ritual and how the members are reborn. Paul Walker is a part of the initiation scene, which I find rather interesting. This movie was a Masonic movie with tons of references to Masonry. If you guys would like me to make a full video on this movie, comment the skulls below. It's obvious this movie marked Paul's initiation into the Masonic Order. The very next movie after The Skulls would just so happen to be Fast and the Furious, the movie that took Paul from being a small-time actor to the megastar he was before he passed. This movie is what sparked his career, coincidentally, right after he was in a movie about being an occultist who was initiated into the Skull and Bones, the movie that changed his life. That is not a coincidence. This is the truth hidden in plain sight. They were letting us know Paul Walker was chosen. Even more revealing, 13 years later after acting in the movie The Skulls, he would get into a tragic accident and pass away. Like I mentioned earlier, Paul passed away November 30th, 2013. The Skulls movie came out March 31st, 2000. Not only was it 13 years later, but it was in the year 2013. For those of you who don't know, the number 13 is a Masonic number. The number 13 has a cryptic meaning to the Masons. I believe it has to do with the fall of the Templars that happened on Friday, October the 13th, 1307. This is essentially the day Masonry was born, as it's believed the remaining Knights Templar members created the Freemasons, incorporating Templars' beliefs and practices into the organization. Notice how they were taken out October 13th of the year 1307, as the number 13 was all over this situation. This is why it's believed people unknowingly started believing Friday the 13th was an unlucky day. The number 13 has been important to the Masons since the very beginning. A Mason by the name of James B. Walker revealed a lot of 13 symbolism found on the dollar bill. He pointed out the fact that there was 13 leaves in the olive branches, 13 bars and stripes in the shield, 13 feathers in the tail, 13 arrows, 13 letters in the saying a pluribus unum. On the ribbon there's 13 stars, and there's also 32 long feathers representing the 32nd degree in Masonry. There's also 13 stones in the pyramid with the Masonic all-seeing eye, and there's also 13 letters in the saying Annuit Coeptis. On the front of the dollar bill is the seal of the United States, made up of a key, square, and the scales of justice, as well as a compass, which of course is an important symbol in Masonry. As I have already proved several times, the Masons created America. This is the land of the free and accepted Masons. They put their symbols all over the dollar bill, marking their territory. The number 13 has a great meaning and importance to Masonry, and it represents their end and beginning. Masonry started with the end of the Knights Templar on Friday the 13th. Paul Walker's career truly began after being initiated into the Skulls movie. 13 years later, he just so happened to pass away in a questionable situation. What I found even more interesting was that it claims that he passed away at around 3:20 to 3:30. The Skull and Bones identify themselves with the number 322. It is completely possible that what happened to Paul Walker could have had happened at exactly 3:22 p.m., which is a direct reference to the Skull and Bones. Fast 7 turned out to be the most successful Fast and the Furious movie ever. The movie ended up grossing over $1.5 billion. If you think Paul's passing is not connected to this, you're truly mistaken. His passing just so happens to tell the same story as the Knight Templars' Friday the 13th symbolism. Paul Walker's beginning was also his ending, as he became famous for driving fast cars in movies and passed away because of being in a fast car. It appears that Paul Walker was a ritual offering done during the creation of Fast 7. What's interesting is that even the movie being the 7th part also points to Masonic numerology. Just like the number 13 has meaning to Masonry, so does the number 7. To the Masons, the number 7 represents the 7 steps in the mystical ladder, or the theological ladder of enlightenment, a ladder the Masons describe as stretching out from earth to the heavens, which is just a reference for Masonic enlightenment. The lowest step was the earth, The second, the world of resistance. The third, heaven. The fourth, the middle world, or intermediate region between the lower and upper worlds. The fifth, the world of births, in which souls are again born. The sixth, the mansion of the blessed. And the seventh, the topmost round, the spear of truth, and the abad of Brahma, he himself being a symbol of the sun. This means the Masons see the number 7 as a symbol of transcending, just what Paul Walker did on that day. 13 years later, after acting in a Skulls movie, he would pass away while working on the 7th Fast and the Furious movie. The 7th movie would end up being his most successful movie ever. If you were to ask me, Paul Walker was chosen as an offering and was taken out for ritual purposes. All of this to me paints a clear picture of what happened to the actor. That day, something was most likely done to his vehicle. Either it was remotely controlled or the car was tampered with. I don't think it was a naturally occurring accident, as not even his own family believes this incident was an accident. 13 years before Paul became the movie star he was, he took an oath and was initiated for the world to see. 13 years later, he paid the ultimate price for his decisions. As we see time and time again, Hollywood is full of sinister mysteries. We might not ever truly 100% know what happened to Paul, but one thing is certain, all of this imagery points to the Masonic Order. Like I always say, we must remember that every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. And we also must remember to help those who can't see the truth find the truth. That's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I just want to give a special shout out to the Truth Movement members. I truly appreciate every single one of you. If you'd like to further support the channel, join the Truth Movement, or you can join me on Patreon where I drop exclusive videos monthly. The link would be in the description. Another way you can further support the channel is by checking out the Truth Fish store and seeing if you find anything you like. Every purchase you make goes directly to helping the channel and furthering Truth Records. Also, please leave a comment on your thoughts below and on any future topics you would like to see me cover on my channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when I drop new videos. If you like this video, please leave a like as it helps other people find these videos. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram and follow me there for more truth. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.